Well, we're in the finals. We were in adversity last series down 3-1 and had to rattle off 3 straight wins. So things haven't gone our way despite, how the regular season went. The playoffs hasn't been easy, hasn't been a breeze, hasn't been anything, perfect about it. So, yeah, it's frustrating, but the work we've put in and the opportunity we've given ourselves, with a Game 7 to win the finals at home, you got to be excited about that regardless of how these 2 games went. Obviously, we got to figure it out and make the necessary adjustments to slow them down a bit and get our offense going so that we can, take advantage of our home court. But nothing about our playoff run has been perfect, and that's kind of the consistent theme right now. And we got another opportunity on Sunday.
David, back left.
Steph, the last 2 games, LeBron's really controlled the game, both scoring and passing, and getting out in transition and creating opportunities for himself and other people. What has he been doing the last 2 games, and how do you get in front of him and try to keep him under control?
He's playing great. He's doing things that are game-changing and helping his team win. So he's been more aggressive, I think, shooting the ball. And we've had some breakdowns, but, he's played well. There's no 2 ways around it. So tip your hat to him and come out Sunday with an aggression to hopefully clog some driving lanes early, not let him get a rhythm. Try to make him as uncomfortable as you can, force him in as many tough shots as you can, live with the results. You just play with toughness for 48 minutes while we're out there, and we can do it. We've shown we can do it, and excited for that opportunity.
Ron, over here on the right.
Ron Krojcik from the San Francisco Chronicle over here. 2 quick questions. What did LeBron say to you after he blocked his shot? You seemed like you were kind of smirking on the way back to the bench. And secondly, how do you explain what happened in the first quarter?
They fed off their team's their crowd's energy, and it wasn't all that bad. Like the first 6 minutes, we didn't score for like the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game, but it was like 6-0. So that's nothing for us. But at that point, they hit some open threes. We turned the ball over. They got in transition, and obviously foul trouble changed our rotation. So they pretty much won the game again in the first quarter, like they did in Game 3. We made plenty of runs and clawed our way back to within 8, I think twice. Gave ourselves a chance, but on the road, we've learned that lesson before, and we learned it again tonight. When you get down that much in the first quarter, it takes so much, and so many things have to go right to get back into the game. So just didn't go our way.
What about LeBron, the block, when he obviously was woofing at you?
What did he say?
Well, just, even if it's not specific, just the general gist of his message.
Nothing.
Mark on the left.
Steph, Mark Schwartz, ESPN. Just to follow up, it seems like LeBron has taken a particular delight to blocking your shot tonight, blocking your layup after the buzzer, after the whistle the other night. He seems to be really kind of targeting you in some ways. Have you felt a little bit of his juices sort of directed exactly at you in this series?
He's made 2 good plays on the fast break and obviously tonight on that block. Made great defensive plays. However he wants to celebrate or whatever he wants to do to kind of take in that moment, it is what it is. I stay aggressive. Don't let that try to get in my head. Obviously, he's pretty athletic, so he's capable of doing that. Gotta make adjustments.
How would you explain the dynamic between you? You're 2 of the players that are considered in the debate of the best player on the planet. What's been the dynamic as that has unfolded here in this series?
He's had 2 great games to keep his team alive, and that's what he's supposed to do. And I'm out there, trying to do the same for my team. We don't go one-on-one at each other a lot, but it's a pretty competitive feeling out there, with the situation of playing in the finals and playing for something special. So at the end of the day, 7 games to figure out who's going to be holding that trophy on Sunday. You got to love that kind of environment and that battle. So haven't enjoyed it much the last two games, but 48 minutes left.
Last 3 here in the front.
Step down here on the right. Ray Jaski, ESPN 990. What has changed that any team would beat you guys 3 games out of 4, and mostly convincingly? I don't think anybody would have seen that the entire season, including the playoffs. What are you guys not doing so well? What is Cleveland doing so well? What has changed, and what needs to change for you come Sunday?
The last 2 games, obviously, not having Draymond was different for us. Not an excuse for us losing, but different because of the rotations and whatnot. And we kind of stalled down the stretch of that game offensively. And we haven't gotten enough stops in the last 2 games, consecutively to build momentum at any point in the game. So that's the biggest thing, I think. The first quarter tonight didn't give ourselves a chance in that first 12 minutes, and game 5 at home, we just our defense didn't show up. So both of those kind of factors, how we start and how we defend, will determine game 7.
You and Clay, if I could follow that up, you and Clay were kind of struggling early. You guys seem to have found yourselves, rediscovered yourselves. It's the rest of the team that seems to be struggling. What do you got to do to get those guys going?
Nothing. Everybody's got to stay confident, stay in the moment, have confidence in themselves all across the board. When you step foot on the floor, you have a chance to impact the game, and it hasn't gone our way the last 2. I like our chances in game 7 to have everything click at the right time and win this thing.
Jeff?
Cleveland has the momentum with 2 straight wins here. How collectively do you guys keep doubt from creeping into your mind?
We know what kind of team we are, what we're capable of, what we've accomplished so far, and how together we are. We haven't splintered at all. I think we're more mentally tough than letting 2 games not go our way, kind of put any doubt in our heads. So like Coach said, if you started the season in October and said you'd be at home game 7 with a chance to win the NBA Finals, you gotta love that kind of opportunity regardless of how it happened.
Last one on your left.
Steph, up front, Phil Barber, Press Democrat. Last quarter of Game 5, you guys really struggled offensively. First quarter again tonight. Do you feel like you got in any rhythm in the middle of this game that kind of helped you break out of that and that might carry over to Game 7?
Yeah, I think it's just a focus on not turning the ball over and setting better screens and moving bodies better on the offensive end. The fourth quarter of Game 5, we didn't move at all. It was a lot of ISOs, but nobody was moving around the perimeter. And tonight, we just turned the ball over too much early and gave them runouts, and then they're setting up their defense, their crowd's into it, and it's just a bad situation. So those 2 things we have to clear up and understand, how we start the game 7, how we set the tone, and hopefully build momentum and just keep it the entire game and bring that effort that it requires to win a championship.
Thank you, Steph.